Sick. Yeah.
Okay, hello guys. Well, this is Rain, coach of the Moco Ho, and I'm here to present my draft analysis for IDL. Um, I feel like I built a pretty decent team here. There's a couple things that I'm not a fan of from the team perspective, but there's also some things that I'm very happy about.
What the fuck? There goes.
So our first pick, well, first of all, so the team that I have right now is not the team that I drafted. I made some changes in Grace, and I made some changes recently to the team. Nothing major, but I did add everything that I've had on the roster. So I'm not going to be going in order of the draft picks. I just put everything in this kind of like in the showdown here. But our first pick, well, which I will say, because our first pick is still the same, it is Iron Valiant.
Bang.
The only thing I have to say much about Iron Valiant is just Iron Valiant. It's a very strong mixed attacker, pretty good speed, has booster energy, so it can boost any one of its boost its attack, its special attack, its speed. Just a very strong Pokemon, fairy fighting, so it can hit steel types for the fairy side. And it can also handle dragons and blah blah blah. You guys know Iron Valiant.
Yep. We all know what Iron Valiant does. Forces a lot of pressure in the builder. That's his biggest strength, is that the builder is very hard to get around Iron Valiant a lot of the time. Especially with Psyshock being able to hit the physical side if you do choose to run like a Calm Mind variant. That's always got to be prepped for, stuff like that. Or even just a straight mix set. Or fuck it, like an Encore set if you see a guy who can't really touch Iron Valiant because of its really nice typing.
Yeah, there's a lot of upsides to Valiant. Not very much downsides, and if there is downsides, you just build around it. So, our next pick, my next pick, my bad, didn't make say our. Gabe had no help with this team.
I drafted this whole team for him.
Sure you did, buddy. Our next pick is Kiram. Again, it's another mixed attacker, very bulky.
Bang, bang, boom, 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 bomb. Boom, bang, bang.
Very bulky, as opposed to Valiant's more frail mixed attacking specialties. We have more of a bulk special attacker. And this is our dragon type. As you can see, we have a fairy dragon steel core with Kiram, Valiant, and Treads. Treads is our spinner here. Again, just what more you can say about Treads than he's one of the top spinners in the game right now. So
he's just like basically the best spinner. Basically like the best fast spinner. He's the best fast spinner. No, the best spinners are you got Corv and Terapagos is allowed, and Terapagos too. Yeah, Terapagos, you got that. I didn't think about Terapagos being allowed.
It's usually allowed now.
Yeah, but playing in open Tera and shit like that, I haven't played with it all that much. I do have it right now though. It's one of the better spinners though. Treads is very nice. Its typing is very nice. You don't have to run boots on it whatsoever. You're not weak to toxic spikes. You're quad resisting the rocks. Like you're taking no damage from any of it. And then you get your if you want to boost your speed to outspeed just about anything, and get your spin off or no booster speed. Fuck it. Just get your speed boost after the spin. Maybe a soft sand or some boosting item, and kind of go stupid into the team. Very nice, fast, spammable ground. Earthquake. Sorry, not ground move. Earthquake, period. Oh, the ground move really works.
Yep, so I feel like I built a pretty good trio here.
I think it's very nice offensively.
Yeah.
Defensively, it's a little bit harder to say.
Yeah, no, 100%. The defensive...
Really just Treads.
Defensive trio, for this trio, is just not strong. Valiant's frail. Kiram has a whole bunch of weaknesses, even though it's bulky, but like it's weak to rocks.
The ice typing hinders it really bad.
Fighting, so it's kind of hard for it to be kind of a defensive unit or be more defensive. It's just going to be bulky with boots. Like that's the most defensive thing you're going to get out of it, is it being like a boot attacker that's able to come in multiple times in a game and then just swing and then just leave. But this is why we added a whole bunch of defensive units around these three. Starting off with another kind of like a flex defensive unit, which is Zapdos here. Electric.
Whoa!
Electric flying with static. So any physical attacker would have to consider bringing pads to avoid getting paralyzed. It is an electric type that has U-turn, so it's not cannot be stopped from pivoting. Just put on U-turn. Coverage is good, decent coverage. It can hit steel types, which is probably one of the things that it's kind of a little lacking on. Maybe usually like electric flyings don't really have that coverage with steel types, which has heat wave. So it can hit steel types as well as hitting. Flying already hits grass, so never mind. And then next up we have Cresselia. We have Tera Cresselia actually.
Wow!
Thank you for your encouragement.
Yeah, just gotta introduce them.
Tera Cresselia is I wouldn't say it's super strong, but it gets the job done defensively, and it's, especially on this team where we have like a whole bunch of offense just right here, and then we have some more subtle flex units right here, and then now we have something that leans more into defense, but it can be a setup kind of breaker with Tera. But I really just think with Tera, just it being a pure defensive wall is just really nice with recovery. It has T-Wave. It has Moonblast with Tera Fairy. Moonblast just hits really hard. It has Side Shock, so it can hit physically. It also has Trick, if you want to trick like Scarf Trick for whatever reason, or Scarf whatever. There's that. There's Future Sight. So it has...
You got the Lunar Dance move too.
Oh yeah.
Lunar Dance. Really good at re-enabling those Pokemon. Maybe had a physical Kyurem set that got burnt.
Yeah, Lunar Dance.
You can definitely just re-enable that straight away. Get the Kyurem back on the healing. Those Healing Wish Pokemon, and Cresselia can definitely do that.
100%.
You got your... Did you talk about Stored Power?
Oh yeah, Stored Power.
For a second. Your
yes.
Calm Mind. Stored Power is, yeah, very strong. Once you get a Calm Mind up with this Pokemon, it actually starts kind of hitting people. It's definitely a tickle monster to start, but once you get a Calm Mind up, you actually get a real attacking stat. And you have a decent amount of options. Most of the time, you're only going to be running the same two moves. If you're like a Calm Mind set, it's going to be Calm Mind Moonblast. Or not Stored Power Moonblast, usually on the Calm Mind sets. Of course, there's always room for variation whenever you're prepping, but Cresselia as a Tera captain, it's very, very scary. It can run the exact same thing every single week. You have to be very careful about how you position around it. You cannot lose. Absolutely cannot lose your check to it, or else Cresselia will win off the bat. Like, right the second that check goes down, whether it was a Pokemon with a random Toxic sprinkled in or a random Taunt, if it's not on the field, the Taunt, you might just lose right away.
Yeah. And then defensively, like if you don't have anything that can break Cresselia, it will just stay on the field. Moonlight
against whatever typing. Is it restricted typings or is it?
Tera, Fairy, Electric, and Fighting.
I mean, you have the ability to have no weaknesses every single week with Cresselia's insane bulk. Kind of have to set up to break it. You can't really bring like a Bandit or a Spexmon usually into it.
Yeah, you have to set up. You have to Calm Mind.
You have to set up and get like plus 2 into attacking stat to break this thing.
Yeah, you guys will see
having no
next
weaknesses
week,
in Tera
week
Electric.
1. You will see that in action. You actually get to see Tera Cresselia in action week 1.
Spoilers.
I don't. That's a little bit of spoiler. Not gonna say too much, but Tera Cresselia was in action week 1. So you see what we're talking about. How if you just let it, you have to set up. You can't just swing on it with like band or something. It'll live. Next, I'm always kind of confused when leagues allow both Basque Legions to be picked in one pick, because they're just the flexibility, right? Yes, you have to be Tera to get a consistent physical stab with Basque Legion, but Bandit Phantom Force gets the job done. If you need it to get the job done, it'll get the job done. On top of that, they both can be mixed, right? Female Basque Legion, I think, is just better because it has Shadow Ball. So a usual set. This is the usual set I ran to win. What's that league called? SBC. This is the usual set that I ran in my winning season of SBC. Something like Shadow Ball, Aqua Jet, Flip Turn, and Surf. Right, and then I can run like Mystic Water to get boosted Aqua Jets and boosted Surfs, something like that. Right, and then just whatever investments, and then just be mild or sassy or whatever minor speed nature, and you're going to be cooking. You Shadow Ball, you do a bajillion damage, and then you Aqua Jet to confirm the kill. Physical Basket Legion, not so much because you have an 80 special attack, so you can't really do that. The best thing you can probably do is just like Mystic Water.
Wave Crash
Yeah.
and Rain.
Which
Wave Crash in the Rain, you got a lot of boosters on it. Put a ban on it. Maybe Tera, because you're going to be Swift Swim instead of Adaptability. You put a whole lot of multipliers on it. That 112 is not that bad anymore.
True.
I think once you start adding multipliers to the Pokemon, I mean, like Cresselia has a really, really bad starting attack stat, but you add multipliers to it with the fucking Calm Mind and with the stored power increasing and stuff. Like the Pokemon that you get a high base power move, you start kind of boosting a little bit, even if it's just a 1.2 for Mystic Water or something like that. It adds up over the turns if you're staying alive and you're doing damage, or just all in one turn with Basket Legion, possibly. Are you Tera? This isn't Tera Basket Legion, is it?
I didn't.
No, but in the Rain, you get the 1.5 boost from that. Mystic Water or Choice Band, 1.2 or 1.5 times boost from that. A lot of multipliers come in, and the stat really isn't that bad anymore.
True. And this is our newest addition, and one of our newer additions here, is we did pick up Politoed. This is for the exact reason to enable not only Basket Legion, but Zapdos in the Rain with Hurricane. And Thunders and Hurricanes. So we have the option of Rain mode to make our offense just that more scarier. And not only that, like, Politoed is just a good Spadef wall, which I feel like my team wasn't quote-unquote lacking per se, because Cresselia could be a Spadef wall, but it gives Cresselia more flexibility as well to be physical or special. I didn't want it to be stuck running one thing, which Chestnut does help with that as well, but we needed something else. Like if I don't want to bring Basket Legion and I just want like a really good Spadef water, well, here's Politoed with Haze, right? And good coverage as well, and can set up its own drizzle and just hit really hard with weather balls. Then also has water absorb. So there's like a Keldeo or something like that, like a Fizdef, Politoed will be very good against it. Now this is our second Tera captain, Chestnut. Now this is one of the things that I don't really like with my roster, is that I have two.
Yahoo! Sorry, I totally forgot to introduce Politoed.
A little bit late, but
let's give a new one. Let's give a new one for Politoed too. Problemo! There we go.
So Chestnut, the thing that I don't like is that both my Tera captains are defensive Tera captains. Both slow defensive Tera captains.
Chestnut definitely can be offensive, though. They both can be very offensive. They're both very flexible.
Yeah.
Chestnut less so flexible as Cresselia. Even though Cresselia's doing like the same thing every week, the same thing that it does is be flexible. Like Calm Mind sets can always just, you can sit there and wall shit forever with your Moonlight or whatever. Like even if it does want to do a similar thing, it very much can do just walling. Very much can do not so much just damage, but Chestnut is definitely locked into the bulky attacker role. I think it's less of a wall than Cresselia, but it definitely functions very well with Tera getting rid of its god awful typing.
Yeah, with Tera, I gave it Tera Water, Tera Fairy, and Tera Poison. It has a really deep move pool. It has spikes, gives us a spike option. It has recovery as well. It has Super Fang, which is a really good utility move. It has Trailblaze, so like a bulk of Trailblaze that could be kind of scary some weeks with Tera. It has Drain Punch, another recovery move. That's Stab. It has Knockoff, another good utility move. It has Leech Seed, another very good utility move. It has Poison Jab, it has Phasing with Roar. It has a very deep move pool, and the stats are good. And it also has Bulletproof. So now what Bulletproof can do for us is that it can block Shadow Balls for Cresselia and Basket Legion, which is very helpful. Along with some other moves, but it's really just Shadow Ball. That's the main thing that it can really do for us. Doesn't really much to say, just a really good Fizdef guy. that has a really deep move pool, has a really deep bag. Just deep bag, good guy. That don't really have much to say about it. Muck A, another new addition. We got Muck A instead of we got rid of Incineroar. Reason why we did this is because obviously Politoed is here now, so I just don't really feel like we need Incineroar. And also, we didn't have a poison type originally, so we have a grounded poison as well as a dark type, and it has a beautiful pairing with Cresselia, being Cresselia has Levitate, so it can cover Cresselia's back very well. It also can cover Chestnut being weak to Psychic and Fairy, come in for those, and it's again it's Spadef, so it covers Chestnut pretty well. So we have a lot of defensive synergy here with our guys down here, ignoring Basket Legion, but our guys here have a pretty good defensive synergy. And what we did have before we dropped before we picked up these two guys is that we had Tera, Articuno, and Incineroar.
Ew! Oh, I didn't do Muck. I didn't do Muck.
We got rid of Tera, Articuno.
That's for Muck. Articuno and Instinct get the same thing because they're both ass.
True. We got rid of our Articuno because we're almost like never gonna Tera it, so it's always gonna have this terrible typing, which we just never want to bring. Locked into boots, and yeah, just not the greatest in like a high tier Tera league. Which unfortunately we don't have one of those top guys. We don't have a Urshifu Water Tera. We don't have a Latios, or I mean not a Latios, a Latias Tera. We don't have Tera King Gambit. We don't have Tera something crazy, right? We just have Cresselia and our Chestnut against the world, essentially. So yeah, that is the draft analysis, guys. We will be posting this soon, and then you'll be seeing our week 1 game next week, and then I believe we're uploading every Friday for this league. So I will catch you on the next video.
Keyword.